Shalom. This is an emergency broadcast alert, giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rekal Kadash, in whom we are in great debt. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, continues doing so, standing firm in the eyes of terror, who I learned this truth from, to the elders, Seleka, to the elders, to the bishops, Akim Nakwab, salutations and blessings to the house of David. We are the hopeful elect. This is your brother Quasiar, and this is going to be a long video. And I don't know how long it's going to be, but it was inspired by the words of my elder apostle, Lion Rap, Apostle Lion Rap. There was something he mentioned about. There was quite a few things he mentioned in today's video, but the one that rings the bell the most is that one, the one that rings the bell. Isn't that something? Because it has to do with bells. You cannot enter without a knock, and you cannot present yourself without an announcement. And so that's what brought this video. And this is going to be a lengthy video, like I said, man, because what you have before you is Lake Lanier. Okay, Lake Lanier is one of Esau Edom's greatest atrocities. One of. Okay, because once upon a time, Esau needed easy way to obtain electricity, and at the same time, he needed to have some sort of reservoir. And there was a piece of land that fit his need, but it was occupied by a people which he did not like. He never, ever liked, for that matter. And he tried to remove them from the land by scaring them or buying them out, by cheating them, of course, because, when I say buying them out, meant by tricks, maybe the land is worth 10 times what he was offering. People did not want to leave that area because it was a natural resource, if you may. People flocked to that area because it had natural resources. If you look into the history, you can see all the things that were easy to obtain from the land in that time. The reason why I'm not getting into that is because the video is lengthy enough. It's part of a history by our people for our people. Now, I'm going to read an article that I found that I was looking for, and it says, because what I was looking for was like the meaning of where the linear come from. All right, because linear was a people, just like the land of Israel was a people before the land, because the land is made by the people. The people make the land. Of course, it is chosen from the Most High before we can uh, make fruit from it. So I'm going to read this real quick, and it's not a quick article neither. The origin, and it says, the origin, French, England. The origin of Lanier name is France and England. The Lanier were musicians for the king and queen of France and England for three generations. The Laniers were also French Huguenots who fled to England. The Huguenots were French Protestants of the 16th and 17th century. Now, before I continue to read, I say Huguenots, but it's Huguenot. But before I continue to read, like I said, I wanted to Google Huguenot. And it says, a French Protestant of the 16th and 17th century, largely Calvinist. The Huguenots suffered severe persecution at the hand of the Catholic majority, and many thousands immigrated from France. That's the short version of it. Oh man, why this thing's beginning to? Oh man, these devils, man, the devil. This, I don't know. It is what it is. Let's continue. Mind you, it must be very good what I'm about to bring you when it interferes so soon. So I know that if you've been following GMS, the Apostles of Great Millstone, Apostle Gabar always goes into the lineage and of the French, or should I say the Greek, the French, and then you must learn to understand some of these languages because our people were scattered to the four corners of the earth. All right. And so back into the 17th century, who had broken away from the Catholic Church and were persecuted during the religious wars of their time. The name of Lanier is derived from the ancient French tongue and means a falcon. Now, if you go down, this is a large article, so I'm just going to go to the meat of this. The Laniers were Protestants who left France to escape the early persecution. Protestantism began in 1555, and the height of the persecution was reached in the massacre of Saint Bartholomew on the eve of August 24, 1572. It was in 1560 that the conspiracy began. One party hoped to enrich themselves by the estate of the heretics who were executed or banished. The other party hoped to gain the favor of the masses by punishing the Protestants that So like the estates of those who fled were sold. Their children who remained beheld, or should I say, so like their children who remained behind were exposed to the greatest suffering. France lost thousands of useful and rich inhabitants whose industry, wealth, and skills found a welcome reception in foreign countries. To prevent the immigration of the Protestants, the frontiers were guarded with the utmost vigilance. Yet more than 500,000 fled to England, Holland, Switzerland, and Germany. In the U.S., wait, this is the point. In the U.S., their largest number of Lanier live in North Carolina and Georgia. In the United States, their largest number of Lanier live in North Carolina and Georgia. There are also sizable groups of Laniers in Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and Texas. The Lanier family connected to the Lofton family when Martin Luther married John Lofton. Martha's grandfather, Sampson Lanier, Sir married Elizabeth Washington. Elizabeth appeared to be a third cousin to George Washington, the first president of the United States, although his lineage has been reproduced in many conflicting versions since his death. Now, ooh, mind you, what you're about to see is of a broken people that don't have it all together in their mind, but do pick up the pieces. And I am going to intervene if I can in between, because this is from TikTok, and TikTok, they pick up things and they don't really look into things, but I'm pretty sure that the brethren can pick out the bones.
Christy Mack, and welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about a little bit of everything above and a little bit of everything below, from food to fairies or whatever my heart carries. And today we'll be getting into Lake Lanier. If you have not heard of this lake, I suggest you do your homework. This lake was built on top of an African American thriving city, and the state of Georgia needed to build a dam to create more electricity in the city, so they chose this town called Oscarville, where these predominantly black people that were thriving and they were really good.
And you see, this is what I mean about our people are broken, because guess what? She got 1 point straight, but what happened is that it wasn't just because of that piece of land. Okay, it was the surrounding lands that needed the minerals, and they needed electricity, and the water was far away, and they needed to make this the reservoir point. And so what they did was created dams far away, and so when they released, they needed to release that water somewhere, and this was the place, so they can have that electricity. So let's just move on a little bit. And this is TikTok, so there's gonna be quite a few of TikToks. So what this guy is gonna mention is a movie. I was looking at it. I started watching the movie. It's kind of slow into it, but it has its points. All right. And you know how things could be bent here and there. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much telling you the truth. Like I said, it doesn't matter.
Ever heard of Oscarville, Georgia? But what if I told you that Oscarville, Georgia is the most haunted location in all of America? Well, in the early 1900s, Oscarville was a thriving black town, very similar to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Well, just like Tulsa, there were some people from the other persuasion who didn't necessarily like that there were so many black folks doing so good. Oscarville, unfortunately, was located in one of the most infamous counties in all of Georgia. And if you black from Georgia, you know exactly what I mean when I say you stay the hell out of Forsyth County. In 1912, Oscarville suffered from a series of racially motivated riots. The residents were threatened to either sell their land or die. Now, the history books will tell you that the people of Oscarville were bought out of their land.
Now, it's plain and simple hatred, not racism. All right. We can go to racism and back and forth, but the bottom line is plain hatred. It's the spirit of evil that comes down from a lineage, Esau, Edom. Okay? Because these are the same people who have followed us from the very beginning and continue to do the same thing whenever they get a chance. But this is your last dance. This is Esau's last dance.
Land and they left fairly. That's a fucking lie, bro. They wiped out the entire town, destroyed it. So I know you may be asking, well, what happened to Oscarville? Where'd it go? It's still there. It's just buried underneath a 38,000 acre man-made lake called Lake Lanier, aka the real Camp Crystal Lake. First of all, since 1994 alone, there have been 200 people who have died at Lake Lanier. Most of them drowned. You think that's crazy? That's not even scratching the surface. Because ever since the lake was open, there have been a total of 700 deaths, bro. For some strange reason, people still keep going there. I don't know why. It's funny because as somebody from Georgia, we used to always say somebody should make a horror movie about Lake Lanier because clearly that shit's haunted. Just when you thought it would never happen, here comes Lanier, an independent film telling the real truth about Oscarville, Georgia and what happened there. See, in the movie, a detective heads to the lake for a family getaway until he gets a call about a mysterious drowning. As he's learning about the history of the lake, he's real skeptical. He ain't really believing it. What's done in the dark always come to the light, and he eventually found out the truth. This movie is definitely important to the culture of Georgia, and it's important to the history of black people in this country. Y'all know Black Wall Street in Tulsa was bad. That was a terrible thing that happened. But at least people know about it. Oscarville, Georgia, no one knows. The history was buried, just like the city was, underneath a damn lake. Ask any of your friends from Georgia, they'll tell you, we don't fuck around with Lake Lanier, bro. Next time somebody brings up this lake, just remember who told you the real history about it.
Some people, even the strongest of swimmers, have said it felt like somebody was pulling them under the water when they found themselves in Lake Lanier. And there are plenty who aren't even from the area who would tell you not to get in the water of Lake Lanier, mostly due to the rising popularity of its haunting past and its haunting present. If this nearly 58 square mile reservoir is cursed, then there's numerous reasons that you can point to as to why. In 1912, Oscarville was home to around 1,100 blacks. Most of them, if not all of them, being freed men and women who settled here after slavery ended. They made their living by working in the fields or doing odd jobs for white residents in surrounding neighborhoods, and were successful in building churches, schools, and small businesses in their town. With the Atlanta race riots happening in 1906, there was still fear in the town that something could happen at any time. The community members were regrettably right. On September 5th, 1912, 22-year-old white woman Ellen Grice said that two men tried to come after her. But before they were successful, her mother ran them off. The Forsyth County Sheriff pinned 5 black men for this, which caused a stir amongst the black communities in the area.
I got to stop it there because the truth is, see, because this is why I'm saying that Jake don't study enough. All right? Jake don't study enough. And I know there's an article about this. I know I heard it. I just can't find it because it was 3 men who was actually raping this woman, and this black, so-called black, came across them and they chased him, and he dropped his belongings, and this is what they used to say that he was there at the scene of the crime. All right? And so let me just stop this guy here.
In 1912, an 18-year-old girl, May Crow, was murdered and sexually assaulted. However, this was so long ago, DNA tests and forensics were nowhere near what they are today. So at the time, the people did the only thing they thought to do. They blamed the people that were nearest to the death which in this case happened to be Ernest Knox, Oscar Daniel, and Rob Edwards. They had found a small mirror that was said to belong to Ernest, but it was a fairly common article, and it really could have come from anyone. It's sad to say that even many of May Crow's family said that the two kids were probably innocent. Some claim that she was knocked out, came to, and identified her attackers, but she never actually did.
And again, I'm telling you, I know about this article. I just don't know what happened. Esau has a way of erasing things, man. So that's why I can't show you the real deal, man. But it was Esau who did this shit and blamed Jake, as always. All right, so this is the best I could do right now. All right, I'm using it for what he's saying. Okay, it's what he's saying. What's important? What's in the background? That's Esau's dirty work. Our ancestors' bones are not gonna be like this. We're not gonna see any bones like that, man. The only thing we might see might be a jaw bone or a piece of bone marrow, something like a tooth. We ain't gonna see none of this, man. This is dumb. But our people are so destroyed that they believe that there are people tied up like that down there. All right.
Hey, family, friends. This here is a picture of Lake Lanier underwater. It was taken by two divers, and they went down there and found the whole city. Well, come to find out, it was a black city.
All right, so this man don't know what he's talking about. Okay, this is again, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. And these who are the children who are forgotten. These are the forgotten children who forgot the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, because they forgotten to read, to worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They fell into this predicament. These are the forgotten children. Because what you see in the lake, now what is crazy and is mind-boggling is that how is it that you can see footsteps, like people walking around in the lake, like underwater? All right, that scuba divers has found, footprints, boot prints. I mean, hold on. All right, this is a scuba diver that goes into Lake Lanier. He doesn't speak, and what's weird is that he has, he has a certain amount of time, but I guess it was shortened for some reason. Okay, here you're going to begin to see. So the camera you might see them as huge because they closed up, but this is a footprint, man. These are footprints. These are people. How is it that you see footprints of people walking around? See that? Some of them are just holes, but you can see that some of them are prints. Because I know that certain fish make these holes, like they burrow these. I forgot the name of the fish. They make these holes in the water. But this back here is a footprint, man. Wait a second. Let me go back there. There are not too many footprints as I believe they were, but there are. There are some. Here, here, over here at the bottom. See, the rest I can't make them out. They look like just like fish, corals or something. Maybe some type of animal, maybe borrowing. But the other ones look like footprints. Not now. These look really cheap. Anyways. Nothing, give me my magic. Oh, right there. Wait. Can't make this up. You can't make this up. Man, right there. Right there. You see the way it's shaped in the point? Man, I know I'm not fucking seeing things, man. Come on. Anyways, you be the judge. You know, maybe you say I'm seeing things. I don't care. That should look like a footprint to me. I don't know about you. All right, like I said, TikTok and our people. So give me
lake called Lake Lanier. I don't know if you remember that. It's in Georgia.
Is that the one with like a bunch of cemeteries that they turned into like a river or something like that?
No. It actually wasn't even a bunch of. It wasn't a cemetery.
It was like a whole city, right?
It was a whole city before. Yeah. It was like a city with predominantly black
people. Yeah.
The city in general, or the people that were the head of whatever, they wanted to turn it into a lake. That whole area, and instead of letting these people know,
they just
flooded the whole.
That's crazy.
So people believe that this lake is haunted.
For sure.
And again. There's several articles on this. True reality it was. They try scaring them out of the land. And when I mean tried to scare them, I mean like really, really nasty way of scaring people. And one of the things is like riding by at night and just snatching people in the middle of the night. I'm gonna show you another article. Well, I can't play the whole thing because I'll just put the link in the description box. That way you can check out that whole article because he goes into some extensive things that I really don't want to bring out here, but I am gonna show you pieces of it. So they actually brought in the military to hold these people back because they were actually snatching Jake in the middle of the night. So they had to bring in the military to help these people because they want to make it look good, right? And who was snatching people in the middle of the night and scaring the living daylights out of Jake? Guess who? Amalek. Yeah, that's right. Amalek. Dressed like a damn clown. But, hey, this, and then, just like a pedophile, it looks like, I'm not going to even say it, but, man, this is disgusting. But anyway, you know what I'm thinking. You know better than me, man. You know what I want to say. Wake up, America. This is what they say now, right? Wake up, America. Make America great again. But I got news for you because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to stir something up really nasty.
Over Lake Lanier today. Check it out. This flight here showing us something we haven't seen in about 6 years. A rocky shoreline. The water level is down by about 7 feet because of the drought impacting Georgia right now. New at 4 o'clock, Channel 2's Barrett Peterson spoke to longtime residents who say it could be a lot worse.
The shore of Lake Lanier doesn't look at all like it did last spring. If I were standing on this spot back then, I'd be in the water. John Barker has lived along Lake Lanier for more than 20 years. He says what's happening this year, more specifically the last couple of months, has its pros and cons.
I like seeing a little bit of beach and a little bit of the sandy shoreline come back, and we haven't had it for a while.
After a super hot summer and an autumn drought, the lake level is down between 6 and 7 feet. Not enough to compromise the Atlanta area's drinking water supply, but for Barker, just enough to pretty things up a bit.
So you remember when I said that Esau needed electricity in a reservoir, drinking water, and this area was the best place to have it because he needed to occupy the land, and those people were living there. Well, Esau has been eating minerals from our dead ancestors, and they've been loving it. True evil.
As nice as that is, it doesn't need to get any worse.
Jack Bennett has seen much worse.
Well, back in 07, it was a whole lot more dangerous because I think it was down like 13 feet.
Jack says unsafe for boaters who didn't know the place. On this day, hazards usually hidden are now in full view. Last spring, this island just off Mary Alice Park in Forsyth County would have been underwater. We met John Barker at Thompson Creek Park in Dawson County.
And you need to know the lake, you need to know the channels, you need to stay where the water is deep enough to facilitate the boat. And frankly, if it gets a whole lot lower, it's not safe to go out there boating, even if you know the lake.
Barker says the solution is simple, but out of our control. Just need some rain.
Wait a second. Oh, there's nothing else to blow up. Oh, just need some rain. Don't worry about it. You're going to get some rain. You're going to get a whole lot of rain. Maybe too much to handle. Who knows? We'll see what Yahweh Bosh and Yahweh Shai got in mind. Hell, it might be a drought. So much of a drought that you'll have to breathe in all that dust that's in there, that old dust. You're familiar with that dust. Now, this is not something that happened in the past. And this is what I'm about to show you is just a brush of reality which is about to happen. And it is happening as we speak. It's just that it's just little pockets of flames. It's not engulfed yet.
Terrorism terrorized these young men who were trying to exercise their constitutional right.
The marchers were clearly outnumbered by their antagonists who lined the road in a scene that looked like something out of America's darker past. Forsyth County's been all white for decades, and many residents say they want to keep it that way.
We haven't had none up here since the first of the century, and I don't think we've done okay without them, and I don't believe we need them up here now.
All these people out here marching today, the black people and the white black people too, all they up here for to start trouble. And they come to the right place to get it.
Blacks and whites marched together hoping to avoid violence, but they quickly became the targets of rock and bottle throwing.
It's mind-boggling to see that things like this still exist in America. But hey, you got all kind of people.
People like them, they look like me and my friends,
And it is what it is. But to tell you the truth, maybe all those so-called white people are probably Jake in the blood. That why would they be marching? I mean, who knows? There might be some white, so-called whites in there that do like Jake or whatever. But it's about this.
Incoming.
God bless America. Keep Forsyth County white. Forsyth County white.
House incoming.
God bless America. Keep Forsyth County white.
Steps of the courthouse incoming.
God bless America. Keep Forsyth County white.
Sounds a lot like Trump.
1,700 National Guardsmen, nearly 200 GBI agents, and over 600 state and local law officers were there to keep the peace. The number kept swelling because authorities expected twice as many Klan members and Klan sympathizers to show up as counter-demonstrators. As it was, less than 2,000 were there, but law officers were ready just the same. State officials say the federal government will cover some $200,000 in salaries to the National Guardsmen alone. They're still tallying the cost of state police and GBI agents, and the cost of local force may never be tallied. Officers came from 10 Georgia counties and cities.
Thousands of black citizens.
No. They were there to just have a show. Or if they really wanted, you all would have been dead. They would have never showed up. It was just to show the world how they have control of chaos. And you people just fell for it. But, chaos has its own control. We'll soon see that too. Oh, by the way, this was in 1987 in Georgia. If you didn't know. Oh, and remember Knight Riders? They made so many movies of these guys that were like heroes. And in reality, they were the biggest thieves ever existed.
The Knight Riders. None of their names conjure any images in the American consciousness. The likes of John West, Laws Kimbrell, and the countless victims they left buried in mass unmarked graves have no place in textbooks in America.
The Jakes, right? This is why even this guy who is doing this documentary doesn't mention the people that they killed because they were Jakes.
No epic novels or Hollywood blockbusters starring cinema action heroes have been done depicting the life and times of the Knight Riders. So who were the Knight Riders? Well, if the legends that have been passed down by 5 generations of folks in and around Wynn Parish, Louisiana are true, they were the most prolific criminal organization in America in the late 19th century. They could...
Wait.
The Knight Riders would make their way out of Tennessee and Kentucky down to Georgia, all the way into Forsyth County, and they would destroy anything and everything that belonged to a black American at that time.
Now, I could go on, but it would just make matters, I don't know, it make it worse for the video, I suppose. And I would like this video to come up and not get banned or striked. So I'll just add some links and hope that you might see some of the things that are coming your way, because history do repeat itself when you ignore your past. And the scriptures do not lie. The scriptures tell you exactly that very same thing. And the only way you might escape it is if you have the knowledge, the understanding, the forgiveness, mercy of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. With that said, I hope you was edified.